childhood game turned out to be something much darker. In my village, childless couples could borrow relatives' children for months at a time. My parents called it blessed charity, helping barren women feel like mothers while earning money for the family. What they didn't mention was that lone children don't get justice. I was 4 when it started, loaned to Aunt Fatma, who'd tried for 10 years to conceive. She called me Amira and made me drink bitter herbs mixed with cow dung every morning for fertility, she'd say with a smile. I remember crying into my pillow at night, scratching until I bled, whispering my real name over and over so I wouldn't forget it. By 7, I'd learned each family's particular preferences. The Rashids made me sleep in their dead son's bed, unwashed for 3 years, wearing his clothes that still smelled like grave soil. They paid my parents extra to keep me during his death anniversary so I could eat his favorite foods at his grave, pretend to be him returning. Mrs. Rashid would hold my face in the candlelight and weep, calling me Ahmed, and I'd have to say, I love you too, mama, or she'd scream. But the Nasirs were the worst. They believed lone children were spiritually pure, untainted by their own family's sins. Every full moon, they'd take my blood. Just a small vial, they said, for blessing their house. They'd mix it into their garden soil, convinced it would make them fertile. Other families started requesting me specifically because I was proven blessed, which translates to, I was still somehow alive after so many loans. And I never had any other friends who were lone children, because anytime I'd make one, they'd mysteriously disappear. And one day, I found out why. Living with the Amars, I found their previous lone child's diary hidden inside a hollowed-out Quran. Salma, 15, had written down everything. How Mr. Amar had started checking if she was becoming a woman, how they'd planned to marry her to their disabled adult son. Lone children made perfect brides because no family would investigate too closely. I furrowed my eyebrows. They told me she'd run away the night before the wedding. The last entry just said, tomorrow they come for me. If someone finds this, I was a somebody's daughter once too. That's when I knew I was living on borrowed time. And that's how the broadcasts were born. In every house I stayed in, I volunteered to help with their electronics. If anyone suspected something, I could just smile and suddenly I was the sweet little borrowed daughter. So helpful with modern things. Little did they know, when their backs were turned, I was building tiny radio transmitters from parts scavenged at the electronics bazaar, hidden inside old radios, televisions, computers, all tuned to the same pirate frequency. I taught other lone children the code. During the afternoon prayer call, when the loudspeakers drowned out everything else, we'd communicate through broadcasts. Quick bursts of information in children's voices. The Mahmoods are preparing adoption papers. The Khalid's lone child has bruises shaped like fingers. Amina hasn't been seen for 2 weeks. Sometimes I'd hear a new voice join, shaky and scared. This is Sarah. I'm 8. Please, someone remember my name. We hid the receivers and toys at the market, tuned them to play our frequency. Children would suddenly hear whispers between cartoon songs. Servants would catch fragments while cleaning. Slowly, the whole village was accidentally eavesdropping on our network. By 15, I'd lived with 20 families. My body was a map of their obsessions. Scars from the Rashid's grief rituals, burn marks from the Hassan's test to see if I had evil eye, a permanent twitch from the Ibrahim's experimental anxiety medications they needed someone to try first. My parents praised my resilience, raised their prices, premium goods. The Mahmoods took me when I was 16. They had a different use for lone children. Their daughter needed a kidney. Better to take from borrowed goods than risk their own child. We've done it before, they told me calmly. The surgery was scheduled for the Harvest Festival. The whole village would be celebrating, too loud to hear anything from their basement. They'd already paid my parents for a year-long loan with a bonus for unexpected medical needs. Paper signed, money counted, but we were ready. That night, as the Mahmoods prepared their sterile room, every radio, television, and computer in the village suddenly switched on. 53 devices, all playing the same broadcast. Not our usual whispers, full recordings. 3 years of evidence streaming into every home. The Imam negotiating prices for looking away. The Yusufs discussing which poisons to test next. The Amars describing how they'd handled Salma's body. But the crown jewel was my parents. Every negotiation, every price increase, every time they'd laughed about how I'd probably last until 18 if they were careful. She's strong stock. My mother's voice crackled through the speakers, built for lending. It was the same voice that used to sing me lullabies. The village square filled within minutes, not with celebrating families, but with horror-struck crowds hearing their neighbors' confessions echo from every electronic device. Full story on channel, link below.